Hi, I'm Mike McKenzie. I'm the founder and director of Your Future Set. Our goal is to provide you with solutions to your finance inquiries as quickly and efficiently as possible. We have split the initial part of the process into filling in the client insight form and sending over the documents. We understand that it can be very time consuming to send over documents, especially when you have to navigate websites like MyGov, which can be a pain. So the plan is to get as much information as we can into the client insight form so that we can give you a rough idea if it's worth your time to send over all of the documents. The more information you can put into the form, it's easier for us to do the job. But if you don't know or if it's too hard, leave it blank and we'll come back to it later. We have multiple PAs working at Your Future Set, so they'll be able to send you reminder emails for missing information or documents into the future, no issues. The main thing is to give us something so we can start the process of finding out if we can help you. So as we scroll down to the form, now I know it's a little bit daunting when you see 41 questions, but a lot of these will be skipped and you can leave anything you like blank as well, which will make it very easy to fill in the form. So as we go through this, as you'll see here for question 3, are you a citizen, yes or no? And then question 4, are you a permanent resident, yes or no? Now, if you click are you a citizen, it'll automatically skip to question 5. So this is how you skip a lot of the questions. If you're if you need car finance, commercial finance, or if you're doing a purchase and refinance at the same time, like a dual application, click other. Otherwise, click whichever one suits you the best. As you see here, if you click purchase, you'll go into 6, then we got some first home buyer questions, and then it jumps you to 10. And if you click refinance, we go to slide 7 and then ask you a couple of more questions like that. And then if you go back to here and click other, it jumps you straight to 10. So then we move on to some of these lovely questions. So even though your credit card might be paid out at the end of every month, we need to know what the limit is. The reason being is that if you have a credit card for $10,000, that can lower your borrowing capacity by 30 to 50,000 depending on the bank. So that's where if you can write down how many credit cards you have with what bank, what limit, it will allow us to make life very easy for that one. Also with mortgage details, the more information you can put in, the better. But if you don't know, leave it blank. We'll figure it out later. That's no issues. Then we move on. Same again. So for this one here, the reason for this question is that a lot of people might have their everyday account and a savings account, but they might have 3 or 4 other accounts for kids, or if they've split it up, if they've read the Barefoot Investor. And what happens here is that if the banks see any transactions between the accounts, they want to look at all the accounts. So if we know for a fact that you have 5 accounts, even if you only ever use 1 or 2, we need to know about all 5 so that if the bank asks us any questions, we can tell them that we know what's going on rather than saying we have no idea, we'll ask the client. It just looks better that way. This helps us. So if you do have 10 accounts, it just helps us quickly searching to find out where the money is for making sure we can match the pay slips to the bank statements. And all the rest is pretty self-explanatory. For this one here, like obviously if you're buying a house and they have a 3-week finance clause on it, then we need to give this a priority. So please tell us that, as well as if you're refinancing and you're coming off a low fixed rate, then obviously you don't want to get hit with huge repayments. So we need to know how urgent we need to work on these things. Also, like if you're buying a house or land package and there's 6 months to titles, while we still want to work efficiently, there's not as big of a rush for this. For this one here, this makes the difference to whether we can work with a tier 1 lenders or tier 2 lenders. If you have any late payments, even if it's not your fault, we need to know about it so we can then look to see if we can fix that for you. And any defaults in the last 5 years, we can still get people financed with defaults and late payments. It just may change which bank we go for, so better to know at the start of the process than halfway through. And then this question here is, like I was saying before, if you have 3 or 4 credit cards because you're getting frequent flyer points, well, why not? But if it's a case of if you've got $50,000 worth of leave, your borrowing capacity could be 150, 200 grand short. So It's a case of would you be willing to reduce those to get the loan? So tick that box for us, please. How many dependents under the age of 18? So this is basically how many kids you have that you're paying for. If you're paying child maintenance and you have less than 50% care, then technically they're not dependent, but then we need to know the child maintenance payments that you have to do. And then as you see here, we got names for everyone. So you chew through a lot of questions, especially if you don't have kids. How many motor vehicles in the household? Once again, you'll see we chew up a lot of questions. We just need to know the year, the make, the model, and the rough value. This is just so I can tell the bank that I know you and I know your situation. It doesn't really matter if the car is worth 50 grand, 10 grand. It's just for filling in those details. You can see we're burning through the questions. Through here for your current employment, tick whichever one is best for you. And then all this we need to know the current employment start date. This is especially important if you started work partway through the financial year for when we do year-to-date calculations. So that is very important. If you have more than 3 years of job history at the same job, then we don't need you to fill previous employment type. But if you have less than 3 years, then we need you to fill in this one as well. And then for your current address, as you type in here, it'll take out all these numbers, but they're just examples. Once again, also we need 3 years history for your current address. And do you have a mortgage? Are you renting or are you boarding? And then this is for the previous. Once again, if you have more than 3 years in your current address, you don't need to fill this in. But if you don't, then yes, please. And then we go to current home contents amount. It's basically if your house burnt down, how much would it cost you to replace all of your furniture and clothes, all that type of stuff. Normally, most clients is between $10,000 to $60,000. But obviously, I've had a few tradies with their tools, so that number can be very inflated. Have a look at that one. These questions are very important because when the banks calculate how much you can borrow, these numbers go outside of what they believe your monthly expenses are. So we need to know how much you're paying for home insurance, how much for car insurance, and how much for private health. So if you can put these figures in for monthly, or if you like, you can put them in whatever your fortnightly or weekly is, and then later on you can tell us that one. That would be awesome. How much superannuation do you roughly have? This is once again a bit of a know your client question, but if you're over the age of 35 and the loan term is going past your 65th birthday, then this becomes very important for our exit strategy. And then same again, are you paying private school fees or strata fees? Because these are also done outside of HEMS calculations. How many people on the loan? If it's just yourself, very easy. If you're doing 2 people, then that's cool. And then we'll ask all the same questions again, or you can hit discuss if you want to talk to me. Normally, this is the case of when you might be a de facto or married, but only one person is on the loan or the title. So we do just need to know those details. That's cool. So we're going to do 2 people. So if we click one person, you'll go through to is any information that you want to tell me. That will help with the situation and what you're trying to do. Just if you found a house, if you refinance, any information there is great. That will help you with your situation. And then you go to submit. And if you click 2 applicants, it'll then ask all the same information for your partner. And then going through these ones again, same thing, current employment type. You don't need to do the previous employment if we already have the current one, that's fine. Going through this, same thing, and then we're back to submit. Once you submit, my PAs will start going through your information. They'll do quickly, and they will send you an email very shortly about what they can do. And they'll also send you a document checklist. From this link, it should you can go to my website and have a look at the documents if you want to get a head start and start sending them over. That is awesome and is very fine to do. Otherwise, they'll send you the email shortly. And yeah, that's basically it. So I look forward to working with you very shortly, guys. Thank you very much.